What is going on, everybody? This is Matt Marinoff, and I will be your co-pilot for the next hour. And I have Judy Sahagian, and she is with NetSeeker in New York City. And she actually has a website called LifestyleTeamNYC.com. I've known Judy for a very long time. If anybody knows who she is, Judy Networks is live with us. Judy is actually known in the boroughs of New York City, and she's going to give us a little bit of the market watch, what's going on in New York, and she's also going to be telling us a little bit what's going on in her life, and also she's also going to give us a little bit of insight behind Judy Networks and who she is personally. So without further ado, Judy.
Well, you know, it's so funny. Thank you, Matthew, for having me here today. And it's so funny because we were going over my name, and that's the one name you got right. So,
I did get it right.
You did get it right. You didn't get the other names right, but it's okay. You got the one that you were trying to get right. So
that's all that matters.
It's in the basket there.
Anybody that knows you, it's just
Judy Networks.
Judy Networks. That's it.
That's it. Judy Networks.
That's your deal. Now, we actually met through Nick Tang.
Yeah.
Many years ago. Absolutely. Tell us what's going on. What is Judy Networks up to?
Well, it's interesting. Let's first talk about what is Judy Networks and how Judy Networks was birthed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been in the industry 25 plus years, and I've seen a lot of market crashes. And, you know, back in 2007, when the market crashed and, you know, we had the mortgage bubble and everything like that, at that time, you know, I was doing very well. I had a penthouse. I had 3 restaurants. I was rocking and rolling. I was a regional franchisor for Exit Realty. And believe it or not, also doing mortgages at Lend America. My friends used to say, where do you have the time to do it? But everything I do with passion, and I love it. So it's not work. It's just my way of life of doing things. And then the market crashes. And I basically lost everything. And when I say everything, I went from having this beautiful life to sleeping in my car for weeks. And still, you know, thank God at that time, I had a gym membership, and, you know, I used to go to the gym, take a shower, and go to networking events and go to the office and do things and, you know, just keep going, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You can't stop. And at that time, you know, the market crashed and it dried. So no deals were getting done whatsoever. And it got to the point of like, you know, where is my next meal coming from? Especially also hiding the fact that I was in the situation. My closest friends didn't know what I was going through, you know, because when you're in this business, it's almost like keeping up with the Joneses. You know, you have to show a certain face, especially when your community is facing such great uncertainty. So you have to even be more certain, even if you're worse off than they are. And at that time, that's when
what year, Judy, what year was that?
2009.
So 2000. So I got into the business 2005, ramped it up 2007. People knew who I was, the classes, whatever. You were in a position where you were starting to go into the downturn in 2007?
Well, I was doing well first at 2007. You know, I was going, and then I had my team work over at Lend America, and I was like literally, I was traveling. I went to India, Paris, Germany. So like all through 2008, I wasn't really here much to really feel what was going on. I was touching point because I do a lot of global business. Right. And then finally, when we were heading towards the ending of 2008, I slowed down my travels. And then I just realized, like, you know, what was really going on. And we couldn't do any loans. People, you know, were losing the equity in their homes. They were upside down. And unfortunately, because they had that gap in their income, they weren't able to refinance. They lost their credit. I mean, all the worst case scenarios that could have happened, not only to my clients, but also to myself. And that's, you know, at that time, that's when, you know, I was dating someone, which will remain nameless, that had sold his company and basically started a networking group. And through that, that's when I couldn't do deals. I didn't know anything. I was like, well, you know, let me help you do this, you know. And then I realized that I had this really great talent for bringing people together and networking and bringing like energy and light to people who were looking for opportunities. And from there, when it went from helping him to help him establish what he was trying to do, he went, you know, we did go into the conference sector. And when he went into the conference sector, he really wanted to be in that 1 percentile, right? And just really deal with the guys, you know, I'm mine is more bigger than yours, right? And me, I was more like, well, what about, you know, this whole market you're leaving behind? And he was like, well, you deal with them. You take that side of the business. And for me, you know, I grew up, you know, in the Bronx, humbly fighting hard for myself. And I was more passionate about helping the people, you know, grow versus trying to fit in with people who were already there. And so I started Judy Networks. And my first event was in my home borough, which is the Bronx. And we did it at Tosca Cafe. And it was amazing. You know, I had all the support and help from the people in the industry. And from there, like by the third event, I was the go-to for opportunities for the real estate industry, for the networking. And then from there, it went to TV. And I started What's Cooking in Real Estate. I don't know if you remember that. Remember that? And then
Yeah,
that,
it was on the Channel 11, right?
no, that was Design Recipes with Kathy Hobbs on Pix 11. So that was just a few years ago. That's when the market was starting, you know, was good, right? So, and it was very interesting because as you go through time and changes, I did realize that when the market was really bad, you know, events were really good.
Right.
And when the market got good, the events were horrible. So then I had my crash again, right? But
So what year are we talking about now?
I'm talking about 2017. I had my next crash, but now here's the difference because I'm Mrs. Network and everybody comes to my events, and you know I did very well of, you know, bringing people together, bringing the right people together, putting them together, networking them. But now when I was doing the events, I was fighting against people, you know, doing their deals, and I get it. So it was like, again, I had to have another lesson and lose everything. And again, being the
So you actually lost everything again.
Lost everything
In
again
2017.
in 2017. But
So
again,
hold on, so I'll clear us because people are coming in and out. So in 2007, you were good. 2009, you essentially lost everything. You were living out of your car, and now got back on top. 2017, it all fell apart again.
boom. And it was the car situation, but you know, the difference was this time, you know, I stayed with a friend and I stayed with, you know, new relationships and very important relationships developed in my life. And, you know, I got to really see this time what people are, who people are.
Yeah.
who people are. And, from 2009, when I started Judy Networks, then also, I worked on Faith Hope Consolo's team for 6 years and, doing commercial real estate, luxury retail, which for me was an honor, love her or hate her, because she was really a character. But let me tell you, I got the training of my life that you could never get in any course or any school. And I think that's what all of this is about, to teach us what we're made of, right? Because it's easy to make money when the market's good. It's easy to make money when the market's good. You want this, you get this, and then you put it together, boom. But what strategies do you do when things don't work out how you expected? How do you protect yourself and your family when things are not going the way you expect? Or when you think, oh, I'm going to have a closing or this and that, and the next thing you know, nothing is happening. And then you lose it. And the worst case scenario is you're living in your car again. And
Judy, I have to ask this question because I know people are listening and they're like, how the hell does this lady keep going? And were the relationships superficial prior to the first time when everything took a shit and went downhill? Did you have any real friendships that came out of the first disaster, the first one?
Absolutely. I think through all of it, you can't build a bridge alone, and you're as good as the people around you, But the most important thing is that you have to be your force in your life and go for your things. But we don't do it alone, because anytime that friend let me stay in their house or gave me a referral or a nudge up, that is something that helped to build towards my success again. So I am always, like, the friendships that I have and the relationships I have on my in with me, they're lifetime. The only way those relationships would leave my life is if they do, or if we find different things. But I'm really grateful to the people in my life that has always been there for me. I'm also grateful for the people who did some rotten things, because it helped me to learn red flags when they're coming, and when people are actually full of it, So everything you do, it brings you up to a point of where you're at now. And, right now, the whole world is in crisis, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I say it's kind of ironic because I'm so used to fighting for everything, fighting for my deals, fighting for my relationships, fighting for my survival, that, when this crisis hit, it's almost like, it's not really that different from what I've been experiencing from the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And ironically, it's allowed me now, this cycle around, to be so calm about it, because it's like now I recognize the signs and the steps, and it's like there's no panic. If anything, I can see the opportunities, because I've already been through, like, what's worse after you lose everything? People are like, oh, but if we don't get a job and this and that, well, the option is that. So you want to run out and make money for material things, but then, you might die. So you can always get your material things back, but what you're fighting to save may not be meant to stay there, so you can find the opportunities more. But you have to be open and not panic, especially in times like this, because it'll be the calm ones who will be able to sit back and then prepare. Right. See, what I've been noticing is that right now, a lot of people are like, when is this going to end? When is the market going to open? When is this? Okay, great. But also, they're not looking into what's going to happen 6 months from now or 4 months from now, when COVID, I shouldn't be even saying that, right? You can't say it or something. When when the virus comes back in the
Mhm.
fall, it's definitely going to come back in the fall. There's
You,
no
you
defense,
believe it's going to come back?
huh?
You believe it's going to come back?
If you want, here's the difference. We have history, and history repeats itself. And if you go back to the time of Spanish flu, which was ironically 100 years ago, they had 3 waves of the Spanish flu. And the
Oh,
second
wow.
wave was the deadliest. And
Mhm.
that is to say, right now we have the first wave, and luckily we had the first wave at the end of flu season, where we are now coming into the warm weather. So now they're saying a lot about social distancing, but is social distancing really all 100% that we could contribute this to, or the weather? Because I think if this would have hit here in December, like it did in China, it would have been a very different scenario. And I go out in the streets, when I go to the grocery store or something, I see people out there this whole time, like nothing, like nothing. I saw kids playing outside, people are outside. So there wasn't really heavy social distancing going on, especially for a city like ours that's very compact.
True.
So the thing that is, we're going to come out in the summertime and we're going to have the spring market and the fall market combined.
Mhm.
And when we have this temporary little bubble of where we're going to get deals done like crazy. And
Right.
that's the upside. That's the good side of it, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, get ready, because it's going to be a catapult, but don't have amnesia. Because when the fall comes, look at what has happened to our economy and everything for 1 month of shutdown, or like a month and a half, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens when the flu season? And I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but being in retail with Faith, right? And Best Legend in it, the flu season
Mhm.
starts and overlaps around the holiday season.
Right.
The holiday season, from hotels, shows, retail. What is Thanksgiving going to look like? What is Black Friday going to look like?
Mhm.
People run out, go shopping Black Friday so that they could get their Christmas gifts. People can't be together at that time, or it's just going to be very different. Yes, there'll be online shopping, but what about New Year's Eve when they drop the ball? If we have the wave, and it's already shown that coronavirus has mutated to 2 different strands. You have the S strand and the L strand, one being more deadly than the other. And
Right.
the questions are still out. If we get the lighter version, will it, protect us from the heavier version? Or can we get both versions? Or will this thing mutate to a whole new virus? And then we also have the influenza season going into play. So this is very serious stuff. It's not like, oh, let me switch the light back on and the economy's on and switch it back off. That's where the second wave gets, and I'm not a doctor, but I've been sitting doing all my research and everything, because, we need some common sense. I think we're lacking that. Everybody's waiting for someone to tell them, yeah, it's okay to go out the house. Go kill yourself, or stay home. So when we hit the fall and this virus comes back, and we could all do our best to predict what that may look like, which is what I'm seeing right now. And people may be like, oh, I don't see it because I've already heard it. Judy, I don't see it. And this and this and that. Well, look at 100 years ago. And right after the Spanish flu, we had the Great Depression, which lasted a decade. And already economists right now are saying we're already into a depression. And if that second wave comes and we lose the income of the holiday season, upon the trillions of dollars and the stimulus checks we're still waiting for, and all of that. So what does that mean? That's all the doom and gloom. What does that mean? We do have a summertime. Usually the summer is slow for our market, but people aren't traveling out right now to that. So you have this entire summer to really work your butt off. Work your butt off, close those deals, do those things, but then be realistic to what is going to be your game plan in the fall. Are you going to sit? You're going to wait it out? Are you financially able to sit through months?
I think that's the issue. I think that people don't know what's going to happen. And nobody, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to be like Dionne Warwick Psychic Network and basically predict of what's going to happen. I can tell you this. So for the last 2 years or so, I've been stating that in the next 24 to 48 months, there's going to be a correction in the market. So for me, I was always like 2020, 2021. So I don't want people like, oh, here we go, Matt Marinoff, Hebrew Hammer, Short Soul Savage. He's jumping on the train. If you look at past posts or videos of me, or even the event that I had last year, before the whole COVID stuff, we were talking about how there was going to be, a correction. And the correction is now becoming a trifecta. And here it is. So we still haven't cleared out a lot of the garbage from 2008. There's still a ton of stuff lingering around.
Absolutely. And you're a perfect example, of the cleanup, right? The short sales came out and, that was one of the way. And I'm sure that, there are. So I was watching Economist. They're saying no matter what, there's going to be like a 15% dip in the market, no matter what. And worst case scenario, as they've said, is 30-40%. That part I don't know, because that's all going to depend, on how this virus comes back and, how severe it is and how long we're going to be on a lockdown and how the holiday season is going to play out. Because, really, when you're talking about, my specialty is commercial real estate. I've done homes back in the days when you and I met. Remember I was a team leader for auction.com back then when we were doing the auctions to clean up a lot of what happened in 2007.
Yeah.
So what do you see? What do you see as some of, let me ask you a question, because you're still more in that residential part over here, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your suggestions that we'll stay in homeowners right now because I am not the expert in that. What are some of the suggestions you would give homeowners in these next few months to prepare for a possible longer lockdown to protect them over the next year if they have, let's say, equity in their house, but yet they may not have the income saved to protect that equity?
Well, there's a couple of things. Before, what I wanted to finish was the trifecta is the stuff that's from 2008 that's still lingering around. Then you've got the failed modifications from 2013, 2014 that were, basically coming due. And then you got COVID-19. So that's the trifecta. So we're in a very scary time right now. This is an email that I received from a homeowner that wanted me to review the paperwork. This is another one. Somebody keeps saying to me, well, my bank, they're basically taking the payments they're putting on the back end. They're doing a deferment. And you sure it's a deferment? And they said, yeah, they still have to make the payment. They'll worry about it at a later date. So I'm telling people, you better ask a lot of questions, because let me give you an idea what a later date looks like.
Yes, the balloon payment. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's a balloon payment, okay? Now, ironically, here's something else that I got from another bank, from another homeowner. Let me call this over so I don't say people's names. And look at this one.
So you're forcing me to wear glasses here.
Here's 4 payments. Now, these people are like, well, I'm not going to make a payment. Screw it. And I'm like, well, listen, do you have the money to make the payment? And they say, yes.
They
They're
do.
saying, yes, they have it. I'm like, make the goddamn payment.
Exactly, because then you're gonna when the data and the market actually catches up to this, how many forbearances you're gonna get or deals like this.
Here's the scary part. So we're getting a lot of calls from people that we've done business with in the past, and everybody's flipping out. Matt, you know I can't do a modification. I know you can't do a modification. The bank is telling me I can do a forbearance. Some of these people, we're calling with the bank, and it is scary as shit because these people don't know what they're saying on the bank side to the homeowner. And let me tell you, in the third and fourth quarter, these banks are getting spanked to the tune of $10,000 to $15,000 a conversation for not giving the correct information to people. I have people that are sitting at home right now, literally from banks, auditing phone calls, listening to their reps, not giving proper information.
Not to mention the people that are doing the banking now haven't probably been in the business 5 minutes. They weren't in it, 10 years ago, 12 years ago when this happened. I remember short sales. When the short sales first came out, we used to try and negotiate. It took years for the banks to start accepting the short sales.
So I want to say that 2 of the banks that I'm very close with right now, the representatives, upper management, they are blown away about the lack of training that the reps are getting, and they're doing their best. But you got to remember, they're working with skeleton crews.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas if maybe they had 100 people on the floor, right now, maybe they got 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that are falling within the cracks right now. People are upset. Homeowners are obviously very upset. And I'm telling people, call your bank. It's going to give you the option, 1, to record, 2, if you don't want the conversation recorded. Record the shit out of that conversation. Because you as a homeowner that doesn't understand the distress side, you could fall into a trap and it could be he said, she said. But if the call's recorded, they have to pull it. So make sure the time, the date, the conversation, the time it started, maybe the time it ended, so they can narrow it down. Those calls are being recorded. And then get the person's name that you're talking to. Get the ID number. Get the department. Get the supervisor's name. Get whatever you have to do to show that you were on that call and that you were misled. Now, is that going to help you at a later date? I don't know right now. But I can tell you that you better have all your ducks in a row, because if you've already done a modification once before.
That's it. Yeah. And also, the market, from what economists and a lot of other experts that I've been watching are saying, that the market is temporarily going to go up, right? And that's also the thing. It's going to go up in the summer. It's going to go up and everything like that. But you won't really start to see the impact of the economy until the fall, 5-6 months from now, when people start defaulting on all those forbearances and they're not able to do it anymore. And then they have those gaps in their income that they want to refinance, right? Because right now, a lot of people are, not right now, but in the last month, a lot of people been refinancing to get the great rate. And they've tightened that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only going to get tighter and tighter and tighter to do that.
So, my fear is that people don't really understand how severe this could be, how in where you know this type of market is going to fall. So I tell people, if you have the money to make your mortgage pay it.
Yeah.
Don't If you're a renter and you have the money to pay the rent,
Still pay it because you put the landlord in default and in problems where he'll lose the building and eventually you'll still lose your home.
right? But
So,
the thing is that on the forefront of what I'm hearing from investors that own properties, and again, this is alleged, this is hearsay information, this isn't me saying this is what's happening. This is what I'm hearing. They're sending certified letters to every single one of their tenants to make them aware that if you can make a payment, make your payment. You can't make your full payment, make a partial payment.
yeah.
Pay something towards your payment, and when this is over, that the lease will be adjusted, and the payments can be altered in some way to make it favorable for everybody else. I've also heard, allegedly, where people are directing their tenants to these different organizations that are out there that are helping them contribute or make towards the payment for rent. So I really don't want this to be a complete train wreck. I've had steady business for the last 15 years with short sales. Now,
You're about to be booming. So,
well, we actually just had to update our software, our back office that we use, because knowing what was going to happen in 2020, 2021, we switched gears from one platform that we were on to more of a loss mitigation platform because we were going to have that. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. We're still learning it, but the platform's amazing. It's going to be completely different than anything before. And you know what? If you're a real estate agent, an attorney, a homeowner, or even the buyer in transactions, in a normal transaction, nobody's letting anybody know what's going on, which I think is completely unfair. There's a lot of.
I agree with you on that because I actually had a closing today. And
Mazel tov.
thank you. And I'm actually busier than I've ever been. And we are definitely in the scenario of prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Right.
If that saying has ever been more solid and true, it is right now for all of us. And that's what I've been doing, preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, but I'm keeping on trucking just like I've been doing. And I just did a VA loan. So people, someone had said to me the other day, well, what deals are closing? I'm closing. I know a lot of other people that are closing, and some of the opportunities that I see for, like, let's talk for brokers for a second. One thing as brokers we're going to have to do is get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you're used to doing luxury condos in the city or mansions or everything, you're going to be out of business. Simple. I was trained in retail, and I'm sure I'm going to have tons of inventory. There's going to be tons of inventory with the hotels, but that's not going to be there's going to be solutions that are going to come of that. But, you want to look at things of how to repurpose that retail.
Right.
What is retail going to be? So if we look at and we say, okay, well, for the next year or 9 months or so, we're going to need testing sites. That's going to be a priority, especially if we're not leaving our houses. We need testing sites. Maybe we're going to need more medical sites, more things like that. So right now, I'm negotiating a deal with the GSA for one of my landlords to do a government building. That's solid. So like I had put out a post a couple of weeks ago, landlords also do have options, right? So yeah, you're not going to get that AAA tenant right now, or that AAA tenant has the negotiating power. You do have government entities that are going to be needing to do testing sites. They're going to be needing to do whatever it is that we have to look forward to, but you have to have that mindset. It's also the same. My client, the closing today, which congratulations to them out there if they're seeing this. You know, they one is, you know, works in the hospital, the other one works, you know, with the NYPD. They're making good money right now, you know. So
Yeah.
there is also a lot of people that are making good money. The frontliners, those people that we were forgetting about when things were good, are now the people that have been out there and rightfully so have put their lives on the line to protect us. They're making good money right now, and they should be. So for those people, now they're going to have opportunities presented to them that they've never had before or didn't really have access to before. And that's the market resetting itself. So I really think that, you know, for brokers, you know, that are in this one niche, if you don't, you know, you ever read that book, Who Stole My Cheese? Or Who Moved My Cheese? Is it Who Moved My Cheese, right?
I don't know.
Ever read Who Moved My Cheese?
How about Who Cut the Cheese?
You cut the cheese, that's for sure. We know that. You claimed that you aimed it. But you know, it's really, you know, when you're in a time like this, it's about crises, right? And it's about being able to pivot. If you're going to stay in this one thing and say, well, for the next year or two, what are you going to do if you're in the luxury market and you can't close anything? Your sellers are backing out. They got enough money and time to sit and wait, and your buyers are too scared to buy because they know equity is going to go down. What do? You have to pivot. Then maybe sell, instead of selling one beautiful luxury condo, go sell 3 or 4 houses that are on a lower income to make it. You know, me, I'll go scrub toilets if it means survival for my family. If I have kids or anything, if I have to do whatever it is, I'm going to do it. And that's what this crisis is making us to look at. You know, if you can't do one thing and we're locked down for 9 months, what is your game plan? Instead of putting your head in the sand,
Well, let's get one thing straight. I don't care how big a lockdown is for whatever it is. People need a place to live. People have to rent. People have to buy. There's always going to be real estate being sold. There's always going to be real estate being rented. I think that, in my opinion, and this is solely my opinion, and you can say you agree or disagree, that's up to you, doesn't matter what market I am in because I'm a chameleon.
Yeah.
If I have to change whatever I have to change, the shape, the size, the color, to shape and mold my business. Look, I didn't have to do this 12 o'clock show Monday through Friday. It's actually a lot of work. And the reason why I do it is because I need real estate agents and brokers to be on the same page. That just because we are in crisis mode doesn't mean people aren't purchasing. I have plenty of people that I'm friendly with that are realtors and brokers that are depressed.
Yeah.
They're like, my business dried up. You know, I'm a one-trick pony. I can't think outside the box. Let's face it. If you're not into technology, you're going to be dead in the next 6 to 12 months. You better figure out a way or hire somebody or take out a loan to hire somebody to do your technology and be able to be on the information highway. Because I think, and people ask me all the time, Matt, why are you not a real estate agent? To me, it's not sexy. I love going up against the banks. I love banging a square.
I love commercial. Same.
Square peg, round hole. Banging it in there, making it fit. So now people should be getting educated. I'm on a mad rush to get my information online for courses for people so they can look at it. Because what happens if October I can't do my next short sale boot camp because of social distancing? So I'm letting people know that if we don't do it at the boot camp live, we're gonna doing it one way or the other. So I need people to understand and hear the value of information that you're offering. And just so you know, this video is going to be cut up. There's going to be an audio. It's going to be an audio version of it. So you could market it if you want, and you can send it to people that are on your team. You could send it to homeowners, or you could send it to people that you want to recruit to be on your team. The purpose of the 12 o'clock show is to keep people moving in the right direction.
In the right direction.
Not moving in the right direction. I don't care how long you've been in the industry, 20 years, 25 years, 5 months. You better understand your technology, because being able to do the things that you can do online, honestly, people should be using it anyway. These people that drive around and put unnecessary miles on their car and show people's properties, I think they should almost make it mandatory that if you got
have
a
a TikTok account?
What's that?
Do you have a TikTok account?
I do, yeah.
Good, me too. You better follow me. I have some cool TikTok videos. I actually found 2 guys on it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go see if I could find anything about commercial real estate. And I found these 2 guys on it, one that does commercial real estate in Arizona and one that does Connecticut. And their videos were hilarious, amazing.
Okay.
And so many people are like, what's TikTok? Oh, and you know, that's what they did when they missed the boat with Instagram, because
let's do a follow-up video, and let's get, if you're following them and you're friendly with them, see if you can get those 2 characters on here.
Absolutely, they're hilarious. I'll share it with you too to see, because you know that's what it is. People need also light right now. They need things to aspire to. And you know, for me, when this shutdown happened, I actually went into shutdown March 4th. I was like, I see the writing on the wall. Yeah. I'm going home. I'm there and everything. And I said, you know what? Now's the time to reset. Now's the time to look at things that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the time to do because I'm always rushing, running. Now I have this pause. And instead of being fear, once I understood what was going around me, I said, okay, let me figure this, let me figure that, even now I'm looking at growing a garden, right? Because why? I mean, I live in Brooklyn, but all the vegetables you cut, you could grow lettuce just by putting it in a cup of water.
And I just saw that the other night.
But this is if we have a 9-month shutdown, right? Yeah. And there is a possibility, or even if it's a 4-month shutdown, look at what people are going crazy on the 1 month.
Yeah, I know.
And if that's a possibility, and a possibility of food shortage, and a possibility of all these other things, yeah. Right now people need to be figuring out ways to cut their spending. And if right now you could buy 1 organic head of lettuce and keep growing that sucker all the way through on a light. You buy a light from Amazon for $20, you put it on there, and you have a whole vegetable garden going in your house, and you don't even have to have a garden outside. But it's looking for solutions instead of focusing on the fear. Yes, I did start the show with doom and gloom, because it's for people to realize that this,
it's shock value.
Yeah, the shock value is like, okay, one of the things I always say, as I said, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Once you got an idea of what the worst may look and feel like, which is death, right? Anything below that, is a gift, right? So if we do have a shutdown and you have produce, start a garden. Work on your website. If you don't know anything about the internet, go on YouTube. YouTube is the source of everything. Look, see my nails? I do my own nails. You know why? Because I went on YouTube. I said, I can't afford right now to go to a nail salon. I can't even go to a nail salon. So I'm going to order from Amazon how to do my nails. And guess what? Now I've gotten so good at it that I saved myself $1,200 a year from going to a salon. So think, how much do you spend on produce? If you're spending, $300 a month or $400, depending on how you eat, I spend most of my money on food. I'm a foodie. So how do you eliminate that $300 a month? You cut, you grow, you find solutions. This is the time that we need to be finding solutions, not running out like, oh, yay, blah, 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 because this was the test ground. This was like, okay, people, this is what it's going to really be like for a while. So we could have taken that test ground to prepare, or when is this over? When is this over? Go into the summer, have amnesia, and then boom, you're done.
So basically, what you're talking about is that you were Judy Networks, then it was Judy Networks 2.0. You're already on Judy Networks
baby.
3.0.
Remember, 2.0 was back in 2009 because I was already doing good. I had already had a penthouse and opened restaurants. 2.0 came when that first crashed. Then 3.0, maybe you know what? I'm in the fourth dimension now.
No, listen, everything that we're talking about today is important. We don't have that much time left. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover or you'd like to explain or anything?
Yeah. So, you know, as I said, I've been putting it all over social media where the opportunities through the years. I've been fortunate enough to work with Christopher Gill, which now I'm a partner with him in Simca Developments in the Riviera or the Yucatan Peninsula in the Riviera in the Gulf of Mexico, the Riviera Maya. And we have a lot of opportunities there right now because the dollar, the USD, the United States dollar is higher right now. It's 20% higher right now. So if people were to find the money and take money that they have now and buy there, they'd actually be able to buy 20% more real estate right now while the dollar is up. In a couple of months ago, it's still going to be a great buy, but you won't have that 20%. And we're also offering a broker referral program. So I am the one who shares here. We are offering up to 6% referral fee for brokers all over the world. This isn't just New York or this and that. I have a link that brokers could go sign up if they have a real estate license.
Is that the link that's on there now? The realtor link?
It's the second one, yes. The one that's up now is the realtor link. So
okay, so guys, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a broker, if you're getting your real estate license, this is the link you need to go on. So
right. So what would happen is you take this link and you go and you get to sign up for your dashboard. You personalize it with your logo, your company's logo, your information. Then you get landing pages and you're able to share. You add your clients into there that would be interested in this type of investment. We have 20 hosts on the other side in Mexico who will then answer your clients and take them through the beginning to the end process, streamlined.
So this is what I want to do, because this is really super important, and you're not going to be able to jam this all in. This is the link for the realtors. This is the link for the investors. So obviously, if somebody's watching this, they can go back and they can go back and forth between the two of them. Here's what I think we should do, and this is totally off the cuff. What do you think about in the next week or two coming back on the night show, and we'll promote it and such that people that come on to that are going to know ahead of time that we're talking about this. Would you want to come back?
I always come back. You know, I love hanging out with you, Matt.
Ah, you're awesome.
Nobody shoots the bleep like we do.
You can say the word shit. I actually have to change, I think, on my live mature audiences only.
I think so.
Yeah, sometimes I let a couple loose. So that's the investor link. This is the realtor link.
Wait, make sure the 5G on the end. And maybe, yeah, the 5G on the end is the investor, and
right. That's the investor link, right? And obviously, look, if people want to get a hold of you and they want to talk to you direct,
they just call me.
Even if somebody has a question, how the hell did you make it through 2007, 2009, and 2017? You still look, honestly, you look better now than you did 10 years ago. Right? I mean, look at you. You lost a ton of weight.
Well, intermittent fasting. So that's also another thing to think about, right? Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. What are you?
Oh, I'm sure people are fasting right now out of stress.
That's what I'm saying. Now's your opportunity to take advantage of these things. So
Take advantage of the stress.
once you know what all the doom and gloom is, you have that, crises equals opportunity. If
Yeah.
you don't have the crises, you're gonna people, we tend to just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
The breakthroughs don't come through comfort. You know,
I actually have an idea. When this shit is all over, I think we should come together, and I'm thinking of 2 or 3 other people that are forces in this industry, and we should put on a huge fucking event because
just because we're standing 6 feet away from each other.
well, no, I'm saying when it's all over, when it's all over.
Yes.
Well,
we could do something in the summer. I think we should do something in the summer. I think the time is now.
Yeah.
And as the things go, at least if we're preparing people for the things, because it's going to be what it's going to be at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So go grow a garden, learn how to do your nails. Ladies, dye your hair if it freaks you out, or go gray. Stop worrying about the superficial things and start to embrace the things that matter, which is love, your relationships, your spouses, becoming honest with yourself, spending time with your families, looking at this as an opportunity to become more human. Because we're on this hamster wheel. And if we don't get off this hamster wheel, one day, if you look at the interviews that they've done with like all the richest and most successful people, if they say, if you have one regret, what is it? Not seeing my children grow up, not spending more time with my spouse, not doing the things that I love, climbing that mountain. Now is our chance to do that. The rat race is going to always be here, but go into yourself, look at the things that you don't want to look at, and we will all come out better people, better humans. And then we'll just go back to doing business and cleaning up this mess with an open heart.
100%. Does anybody have any questions for Judy? Judy, I'm sure people want to know, is there a Mr. Judy in your life?
There is.
You broke a couple of guys' hearts right now.
You had to go there.
Or maybe even women's hearts. You never know these days, right?
You never know.
So I would say, based on the conditions and everything that we're talking about, people need to be real. I think people need to be honest with themselves. I think people need to maybe even think about reinventing themselves as far as moving forward. Because
I had to reinvent myself from real estate and all this to Judy Networks, and now Judy Networks is not relevant, right? Because I can't bring people in a room together. So I have to reinvent myself again. Yeah. And I'm happy for that, because it's like, well, what next can I create?
Right.
I'm excited for it. I mean, I'm not excited for people getting sick and death. And I'm really grateful that, my mom and things like that. And, it's very sad, but there's also an excitement to the possibilities that are going to come out of this.
Yeah.
For what we can look forward to, and how the world's going to change. Because it is.
Some people are saying that they think that there's going to be a shift of wealth in this time.
There's always every market reset is a shift. It's way of a shift of wealth, but it's more or less, we're going to change how we live, how we do business. People now realize they don't have to go to an office. They can work from anywhere in the world, So it's like me, I always say to my team and everybody, when I need to do like serious work that takes concentration, I could never do it in an office because I'm too distracted. So
how many people do you have on your team right now?
3 besides myself.
I'd love to have you guys on as a team and them talk about what it's like to work with you, because I have to say,
I don't know if that'll be too good.
Well, no, because I mean, look, we've known each other for many years, and anybody that doesn't know you and does the research, they'll be like, wow, this lady's been around for a long time. Although you don't look like it, it would be an interesting to get the the inside look. I have somebody else that's going to be coming on next week. Young lady, Erica Perez. This woman's a huge force as far as I'm concerned in the industry. She's going to tell her story on what she did to get to where she needed to be in real estate, being a real estate agent and being a broker. So I think that this is a time where you need to be strong. I think this is a time where you need to have self-involvement with your spouse or your significant other or anybody that you might be involved with, regardless. I think this is a time where people are going to end up getting divorced. I think this is a time where people are going to end up.
For me, this was a time that got me back together with my other.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is also this. This can bring people apart, but it can also make a lot of people who were apart for stupid reasons.
Now, when you guys say you're together again, are you guys self-quarantining together?
Not at the moment. Half and half. Half and half.
Okay.
But it did make, you do realize when you're looking at your mortality, like it's not like, hey, I got tomorrow, I could be dead tomorrow.
Correct.
What is important to me? Who's important to me? And so that's why I'm saying this is making a lot of people realize what's more important than just running on a hamster wheel, which is spending time and being with the ones that you love. And for me, that's the biggest gift of all.
100%. Well, Judy, I'm going to say I loved having you on today. I think it was a pleasure. Obviously, if anybody wants to follow Judy, her number is up here. It's 917-853-2148. The number again is 917-853-2148.
And when do you want to do the next show?
We'll figure it out. When we get off, we'll figure out how to do it. I think we need to go.
Do it next week. Keep it going.
We need to go nighttime, I think, and I think you're really going to need a full hour to explain to investors and real estate agents the venture that you have right now. And I love the fact that it's not in the United States, and it's actually in an area where COVID-19 really is irrelevant.
They had their things, but throughout the whole country, they had very little difference. And the great thing about it, as I was explaining to people, is that in times like this, there are other options out there.
100%.
And now is the time to be brave about it, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to invest there. Well, you're going to lose your equity anyway. You're going to lose your money anyway. So you might as well take a chance.
Yeah, so that's something we should talk about. I'd love to actually have somebody pop on when we're talking.
I could have my partner, Chris, but he's the male version of me. Neither one of us stopped talking. So we'll need people that like ping pong. Well, it would be good in the evening because maybe we could make it a happy hour.
You want to get drunk on the live stream?
Do some tequila.
Okay, I got you. So listen, at the end of every live stream, everybody knows I do the finger point. So I would love to see you do the finger point. I like that. Cool. Judy, thank you so much for coming on. I see what you're doing. Thanks so much for coming on, guys.
For having me.
Judy Networks. Hold on one sec. We're going to go offline. Guys, remember, it's not a no until you get a restraining order. This is Matt Merrill from Real Estate Recovery Group, Monday to Friday, and we are bringing you information that's relevant in real estate currently right now during COVID-19. Thanks so much.